Hi everyone, I hope you're having a great day. I want to talk to you today about something that has been on my heart, and the topic is why I've committed to being an anti-diet health practitioner. So I was not always anti-diet. In fact, I worked in the fitness industry for almost a decade thinking that diets were helpful for weight loss. I used to think that meal plans made sense to endorse. And I didn't do my research. And so at that point, I didn't know it, but I was causing harm. And I know now a much more sustainable approach to offer to my clients. So I want to talk to you about why I have chosen and committed my career to an anti-diet approach. So the first major reason is that the research shows that diets just don't work. They actually don't result in long-term weight loss. So there's actually not a single long-term study that shows that weight loss dieting is sustainable. In fact, study after study shows that dieting results not in weight loss, but in weight gain, where 2/3 of people who diet end up gaining more weight than they lost. After, I think it's like 2 to 5 years. It's usually way sooner. And this is, what ends up happening is this weight cycling where people will lose weight short term on a diet and then they just gain it all back. And weight cycling is a risk factor for our cardiovascular health. So diets actually result in weight gain. So how is this possible? Well, the first reason diets end up resulting in weight gain and not weight loss is because our bodies perceive food restriction as a famine. Our bodies think we're in a famine. When we are restricting our food, we're putting our bodies into this state of food scarcity. And so it thinks that we don't have access to food, so it's going to conserve everything. And so when our body's in a famine state, it's not going to feel safe to release weight. It's actually going to hold on to all of the calories that we do feed it, and it's going to store them as fat. So already this starvation mode, this famine state, is causing our bodies to store fat. But then also, when we are starving ourselves, when we are dieting, when we are on Noom or Paleo or Weight Watchers or keto or a 1,200 or 1,600 calorie diet, we are we're creating an internal environment where the body will begin to cannibalize itself. The body will eat away at your muscle. And the more muscle you have, the higher your metabolism is. And so if you're eating away at the muscle, you're decreasing the muscle mass, you're slowing your metabolism, which is the opposite of what you want if you're trying to lose weight. The other reason diets don't work is because, so we've put our body, when we're dieting, we've put our body into this starvation mode or into this famine state, and it causes the brain to pump out more of the neurotransmitters and the hormones that cause cravings and drive us to eat. So this is a brilliant, very intentional effort by the body to get its needs met. The body will send you every sign and signal saying, feed me, feed me, feed me, until you are out of control around food. So your cravings are ramped up, your food obsessions are ramped up, and then before you know it, you're binge eating. What is a natural, logical response to starvation? It's to eventually end up losing your mind around food and eating everything. Binge eating is a very normal response to starvation or food scarcity. Now, for those of you who don't think you're dieting, a diet is essentially it's a style of eating informed by a desire to lose weight, or it is any style of eating that is informed by fear of weight gain. So I used to not think that I was dieting. Meanwhile, I'm like trying to stick to 1,200 calories in MyFitnessPal. All right. I mean, I was absolutely dieting, right? And so even if you're not like engaging in an official diet, you're probably restricting your food even more than you think. If you're trying to lose weight or if you're afraid of gaining weight. And what's so disordered is diet culture makes this seem very normal, right? So like I was like, I'm not dieting, like I'm just watching what I eat. I was dieting, and so it's going to show up in my body the same way. It's going to show up in my body as starvation mode, fat storage, slowed metabolism, ultimately resulting in binge eating, as it did for me, as it does for most people. And when I say diet culture is a system of beliefs that worships thinness and equates it to health and moral virtue. So if you're new here, Welcome. That's what I mean when I say diet culture, okay? So speaking of diet culture, let's talk about the harm that it causes. So already we know like they don't work. So we're putting our bodies through hell through all of this deprivation, not allowing ourselves to have the foods we want and need. So already like that's damaging to our psyche, right? We're creating this internal state of chronic deprivation. And our body's systems are breaking down. We're cannibalizing ourselves. Our body's eating away at its muscle. Our metabolisms can't function normally, right? Our cravings are ramped up. All we're thinking about is food. So already that's harmful, but it goes so much deeper than that, y'all. It goes so much deeper. Listen to how harmful diets and diet culture actually is. So diets cause harm. What diets do is they promote weight stigma and fat phobia. And so what that is it's the fear of fatness. It is discriminating against people based on their weight. So why is this harmful? Well, discrimination in any form is harmful, right? And what diets do is it promotes this narrative of like, you should always be actively losing weight. And if you're not, then you are less than. Now, fat phobia, weight stigma is an oppression, right? So diets are oppressive. I have opted out of diet culture because I don't believe in oppressing myself or my friends or my fellow humans. I refuse to participate in that. So the other thing that's like important to realize is I think like sometimes we think that fat phobia or like our views about weight are like helpful because we don't want people in larger bodies to get too comfortable because it's unhealthy. I'm going to challenge that thought today. Weight doesn't equal health. You cannot look at someone and assume their health status based on their body shape and size. And it's also none of your business. Their health is none of your business. Leave them alone. But look, weight doesn't equal health. I can have thin privilege and be disordered and diseased in the same way that I could exist in a larger body and be perfectly freaking healthy and fit, okay? So you cannot assume someone's health status based on weight alone. Oh goodness. How else do diets cause harm? I see some amazing comments rolling in. You guys can tell me, how else do diets cause harm? I know for me, it prevented me from really living my flipping life. So I had a wonderful conversation with one of my clients. Was it yesterday? And we talked, so she's on her second program with me. In like a couple weeks time, we healed her relationship with food, healed her binge eating, and healed her body image. And she's like, this opened up a whole new world to me. And now we get to talk about like all of these other incredible things like passion and purpose. So how did us healing her relationship with food and body, eliminating binge eating, healing the body dysmorphia, how did that open up space to start talking about passion and purpose? Well, we have to start with food because all of us who have a history of dieting are in this state where we are not well nourished. We are not well fed. What happens when we are starved, when our bodies are not well nourished? We can't focus. We can't participate. We can't engage, right? If I'm starving, like all I'm thinking about is food. I'm obsessing about my body, right? It keeps me so in this very narrow way of thinking. And I love this quote by Naomi Wolf. And it says, it's in The Beauty Myth. A culture fixated on female thinness is not an obsession about female beauty, but an obsession about female obedience. Dieting is the most potent political sedative in history. A quietly mad population is a tractable one. When we are dieting, we cannot contribute to society fully. We cannot fully contribute. And this is why I'm so passionate about being anti-diet. Because life outside of diet culture, as Christy Harrison says, is more rich and more full than you could ever imagine. than when you're in that narrow place of thinking about food in your body 24/7. So I want to write here, self-actualization, finding your passion and purpose, making a meaningful contribution to the world. You cannot reach your full potential when you are counting macros, counting points, counting calories, cutting out carbs, feeling addicted to sugar, right? Do you think that you can fully utilize and maximize your potential and your power when you are stuck in diet culture, in diet mentality? I want to set my people up to self-actualize and set them up for success and set them up to go and change the world. They cannot do that unless they are well fed. That's why that's step one. My clients come in thinking they have a problem with binge eating or food addiction or emotional eating. All we really have to do is get them fed, get them well nourished consistently, and then we level them up. It's like at that point, it's not even about like food coaching anymore. It's like life coaching because they have this space now to think about things outside of food. We don't even have to talk about food in their body anymore because they've gotten it under control. And the food and eating for them is effortless and it's easy. And it's not an obsession anymore. It's not disordered or dysfunctional anymore. So we like transition to this incredible phase where once we can stop talking about food all the time, they're like being creative and being engaged and like showing up in their careers and giving to their families generously. It's so like the transformation is just wild. It's like they become a new person. Like, and truly, when you think about it, their personality changes because when you're hungry, you're irritable, right? You're grumpy a lot. Like, it's funny to think about how disordered eating can literally change your personality and change a person. So why am I so passionate about this work? Like, a lot of it boils down to self-actualization, but of course, removing the oppression, the social justice aspect is very important to me, and creating equity and high quality care for all people. But anyway, if you take anything from this, please, please, please stop restricting your food. You deserve better than that. And there is a way of eating that is compassionate and health promoting and sustainable and adaptive. And that is what I teach. And if you need support, please know that I'm here for you. I'd be more than happy to hop on the phone. You can head to www.mariascrementi.com and fill out an application to book your free call. But I hope this was informative for you. Sending you so much love. And I'm here if you need anything. Let me know if you need support. Thank you for being a part of this group. I'll talk to you soon.